This is the Seemoon dual-motor 3,000-watt electric bike, and I've been riding it for 8 months on mixed terrain, suburban streets, gravel service roads, and a few muddy trails after rain. I picked it up because I wanted something that could haul me up steep hills without breaking a sweat, but I was skeptical about the price-to-feature ratio and the long-term reliability. From my experience, the power is real, the comfort is better than I expected, and the trade-offs are mostly about weight, finesse, and the need to keep a wrench set handy. Key features that stood out to me right away are the dual motors with a claimed 3,000-watt peak, the 52-volt 20-amp-hour removable battery, the 26x4.0 fat tires, and the dual hydraulic brakes. The step-thru frame is a bigger deal than I thought. It makes a heavy bike easier to live with because I don't have to swing a leg over a tall top tube when I'm loaded up. The colorful LED display is bright enough to read under strong sun, and the integrated headlight, tail light, brake light, and turn signals make evening rides feel safer. The 7-speed drivetrain is simple, and the twist throttle matches the bike's moto-style vibe. In my opinion, the overall package delivers a lot of practical features for the money. Assembly was simple but not plug-and-ride. It arrived mostly built, and I installed the front wheel, pedals, and handlebar, then went over every bolt. I recommend doing a full check of the headset, stem, brakes, and axle nuts before the first ride. The included toolkit isn't fancy, but it's enough to tighten and tweak. The accessories are more generous than usual: pump, lock, phone holder, spare tube, and a couple sets of brake pads. I set the saddle height with the quick release, adjusted the angle of the handlebar, and aligned the brake calipers. After a short shakedown ride, I rechecked bolts because things can settle. Power delivery is where this bike makes its case. With the rear motor only, it's already strong. It pulls well on rolling hills and feels manageable. Pressing the front motor button turns it into an all-wheel drive beast. Acceleration from a stop is immediate, and it surges from 0 to 20 miles per hour fast enough that I learned to feather the throttle instead of cranking it. On loose gravel climbs where most e-bikes spin out, the Seemoon just digs in. I've taken it up steep dirt paths that I would never try with a single motor setup. It can hit the high 30s in mph on flat road with enough runway, but honestly, I rarely do that. At those speeds, wind, road debris, and braking distance demand focus. If you're new to powerful e-bikes, start slow and get used to the throttle response. Ride comfort is better than its tough look suggests. The 6-part suspension story is basically 2 fork shocks, 2 springs in the saddle, and the 2 fat tires acting like air cushions. I've rolled over potholes and curb cuts without cringe moments, and washboard gravel smooths out as speed rises. The fat tires provide traction on sand and snow that skinny tires just can't. The flip side is weight and rolling resistance. This is a big, heavy bike. Low-speed maneuvers in tight spaces take effort, and it's not something I enjoy weaving through dense traffic. It's perfect for open bike paths, rural roads, mild trails, and anywhere you want stability and grip. Braking performance is solid. The hydraulic discs bite hard and stay consistent on long descents. I bedded in the pads the first week, and that made a big difference. I swapped in one of the included spare pad sets at around the 5-month mark after a lot of stop and go and some muddy rides. The levers have decent modulation, so I can scrub a little speed or haul it down from 30+ miles per hour with confidence. I still gear up with a full face or at least a solid helmet and gloves. At this weight and speed, good protection isn't optional. Range depends a lot on how you ride. The battery is 52 volts, 20-hour, which is about 1,040 body-wars. On rear motor only with pedal assist level 1 to 2 on mostly flat roads, I've seen 45 to 60 miles before I get nervous and head home. With mixed riding, some throttle bursts, some hills, a bit of off-road, I'm in the 25 to 40 mile range. Throttle-heavy dual motor rides cut that down to 15 to 25 miles. That's still a fun afternoon, just plan for it. Charging from low to full with the stock charger takes me about 8 to 9 hours, so I usually plug it in overnight. I like that the battery locks and lifts out to charge indoors. If you commute, tossing the charger in a backpack gives options. Over 8 months, the bike has been dependable, but it does reward a hands-on approach. I've retightened the stem bolts twice, trued the rear wheel once after a rough weekend, and checked spoke tension a couple of times. I cleaned and relubed the chain about every 150 to 200 miles. The fork hasn't leaked, but I do hear a small creak now and then that goes away after a bolt check. One odd quirk, my tail light occasionally glows faintly for a minute after power off. It hasn't caused any problems, just something I noticed. I contacted support once about a display setting and got a reply the next day with a clear fix. When I asked for an extra derailleur hanger as a spare, it took a bit over a week to arrive. Not perfect, but not bad. Ergonomics are friendly for long rides. The shock-absorbing saddle is plush, and the adjustable stem help me dial in reach so my back doesn't complain. The step-thru frame makes quick stops and restarts easier, especially with cargo on the rear rack. Speaking of cargo, the rack is sturdy enough for a trunk bag and a grocery run. If you're tall, the frame length feels roomy. If you're shorter, the low standover height helps a lot. I added slime to the tubes and haven't had a flat since a thorn incident early on. The fenders aren't fancy, but they do the job in light rain. There are real trade-offs. The weight is no joke. Carrying this upstairs is not something I want to do. The fat tires and motor system make it feel planted and powerful, but also less nimble. The finish is good for the price, though not refined. I expect to replace wear parts more often than on a lighter commuter. I also wish the charger was faster, but that would likely affect battery longevity, so I live with it. From my experience, the value proposition is strong if you want torque, traction, and features out of the box. It's perfect for riders who have space to store a big bike, want to cruise dirt paths or snowy streets, and like the idea of switching between efficiency and full send with a button press. I'd recommend this for rural commuters, folks with hilly neighborhoods, and anyone who wants an all-terrain feel without paying premium brand prices. If you live in a walk-up apartment or want a quick, light city slicer, this isn't that. In my opinion, the Seemoon SM1 nails the essentials that matter for power riding: torque, braking, comfort, and stability. The suspension and fat tires make rough surfaces friendly. The dual motor mode never stops being fun. The single motor mode stretches range and keeps it practical. The minor quirks and the heft are the price of admission. In conclusion, this e-bike gives me confidence on sketchy surfaces, enough speed when I need it, and a feature set that covers night rides, hauling, and weekend exploring. It's not delicate, and it doesn't pretend to be. If you're comfortable with basic maintenance and want a rugged, fast step-thru with real climbing ability, this one earns a spot on your shortlist. I will leave detailed information about the Seemoon dual motor 3000 watts electric bike in the comments for your reference. Thank you for watching.